Dead. Gruesome.
Can you believe that Dying Light is 10 years old at this point? 10 whole years. It's absolutely insane. It is to think that it's that old at this point. It's also insane to think that in that entire time span, nothing's kind of like topped it as what it is. It's one of the best zombie games ever made, and it's not like other zombie games where, sure, multiplayer is a component. It's not like the main component. It isn't a 4-player co-op fight hordes of zombie kind of game. And nothing against those games. If you follow the channel, you know that I love those kind of games. It's like comfort food. But this is like an RPG open world. Some could even argue it fits into the categories of survival horror. Personally, I wouldn't put it in there. It's got too many mechanics for it to be like that. It gets lumped in with things like Fallout and Far Cry. It does. It's that kind of game. Because it does all these different mechanics so well, and it just blends the atmosphere of horror with the climate of Assassin's Creed, and just combat in general, the gore, the visceralness of the combat. It's such a good package. And looking back in the time I've spent with Dying Light, honestly, when I first played it, I don't remember like really loving it. Like, I liked it, but it was just another game, you know? Like, I didn't come away from it and be like, that is game of the generation. That was absolutely superb. But for whatever reason, I always returned to Dying Light. I always went back for more. Now, whether that was just because of updates or whatnot, or it's just the fact that it's got co-op, and the co-op's awesome, the be a zombie mode, fighting someone who's being one of the virals. It's such a good experience. Now, when I originally played it, I'm pretty sure I just thought of this as Dead Island, but I can run up walls like Assassin's Creed. And honestly, that's not too far off what it actually is. Like, it's Dead Island, but it's a lot better than Dead Island in the sense that it feels like a complete game. Dead Island always felt glued together to me. I'm not knocking on Dead Island. I actually really like Dead Island. But there's something up with that game, like as if certain parts of that game were made and then they forgot the bits in the middle and they just glued everything together, and it was just kind of like, what's going on with this game? Like, that's honestly what I felt like playing Dead Island. But playing Dying Light, it felt like it was a complete game, you know? Like, they built from A to B. It wasn't like it took detours and it was all over the place and none of the connective pieces made any sense. Characters talk correctly, they're in the right situations, the cutscenes make sense, the story makes sense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the best writing of all time, because it really isn't, but you get some good characters and you get some good set pieces, and it's good enough to push you forward and want to explore and like do more. But at the end of the day, the gameplay in exploring the actual world of Dying Light is what you're here for. The multiplayer is a good component. You can play the game completely solo, and these days you might want to do that, because I've got this game on PS4 and I've got it on Xbox One. Now, obviously, I'm playing on modern platforms, so it's got all the updates and whatnot, all the bells and whistles. It's 60 FPS, the 1440p or whatever the hell it runs at, and it's great, don't get me wrong. But when you got online on these, those systems, those older systems, people have hacked the shit out of them or something, because people are joining my games and giving me weapons, and I'm keep in mind, I'm starting this from a fresh save file when I went back to play this, just to, you know, like soak it in the way it was day one. Well, it's not day one, but you know what I mean, like just the proper Dying Light experience. People just join the game and they're like, here's a laser gun, here's a weapon that I've just made that kills all zombies in one hit, and it's just like, what is going on? Now, when I played it on PS4 not that long ago, I had the same situation, but that was completely hacked to all hell. And I mean, like, people were dropping, like, do you know, obviously you get the drops in the game where you've got to go get them, the relief packages, and you take them back and you get loads of experience. People were standing next to me and just dropping like 99 of them, and it was just like, what? How can you even do that? I don't even think you can do that. But I mean, it completely broke the game, completely broke the leveling system, because obviously I shot up and ended up in legend rank like at the start of the game, and it's just like, what is going on? So you got to be careful who you allow in your game, because it's a pretty weird experience. It depends how much you care about that, but Dying Light can be as easy or as hard as you want it to be. There's different difficulties, of course, but there's so much content, man, so much content. Not to mention, it's got like one of the best DLC like expansion packs ever with the following. That thing makes the game feel completely fresh because it's more about vehicle driving. Obviously you can still parkour, it's just there's less of it because you're driving across fields, but there's so much to that, like the actual extra storyline to it, and then there's like more areas. It just feels like Dying Light like 1.5. Now, obviously, I'm a Dying Light 2 defender. I know a lot of people really have issue with that game. I'm not that person. But when I play Dying Light 1, when I go back to it, I do feel like Dying Light 1 is the better game. Not to knock on Dying Light 2. I still think that's a really good game and anyone should give it a shot. But I think the better experience is the first game. However, when you go back to 1 after playing 2 for so long, although I appreciate the fact that Kyle Crane doesn't gas out from climbing like 2 ledges, the parkour just feels super dated compared to Dying Light 2. It really feels behind. It's not bad, mind you, it gets the job done, but while you're doing it, and you've played Dying Light 2 enough, you kind of feel like it's not fluid enough. It doesn't run as well. Not to mention the like dynamic soundtrack that 2 gets going if you keep like doing good with parkour. This doesn't have that, but Dying Light's soundtrack is honestly, it's one of the best in gaming. It's so damn good. It doesn't get enough respect. It doesn't get enough mention. That soundtrack is actually superb. It really is, and it sets the mood for so many different situations in the game. I can't say enough good things about that soundtrack, and I've heard they're doing some kind of like remaster of the soundtrack for its 10th anniversary. I don't know what that really means, but I'm looking forward to it. If they added more tracks, I just hope it doesn't like delete the soundtrack or something. I hope it's like some kind of toggle, like you can use the arranged soundtrack or you can use the original. I don't want it removing what's already here, because like I said, it's such a good part of the game. The soundtrack, the gore, the exploration, the open world, the climbing, the running, the multiplayer. It's got it all. It has. It really has. The zombie variety. When the zombies are screaming at you in the middle of the street as well, you hear them scream and run at you. It's such a good atmosphere. Honestly, Dying Light gets loved. So I'm not going to sit here and call it underrated or something. Like, people really do love Dying Light, but Dying Light needs more love. It's such a good game. This is one of the best games ever made. It really is. Top 5. It has to be. It's got to be in my top 5. It's just such a good game. I return to it a hell of a lot. I think everyone should return to it a hell of a lot. Such a damn good game. Anyway, people, that's all I got on Dying Light. Have you played Dying Light? Do you like it? I know some people prefer Dead Island because they kind of think the whole parkour system's a bit silly, and I get that. Personally, for me, I think Dying Light is the better game, but I do love me some Dead Island, even with its messiness of its production, clearly. But, you know, let me know down below how Dying Light makes you feel. If you're new here, subscribe. But yeah, people, that's all I got. I'll catch you later.